Al Pizarro was a prominent DJ in the New York City area back in the 80s. He was a reporter for Billboard magazine. He was the owner of Shore Record Pool and VIP Record Pool. He had received the gold and platinum record 3 years on a straight from Ice Cube, the Sugar Hill Gang, Karen Young, Shannon, Eminem, Snoop Dogg, Naughty by Nature, and Dr. Dre. This was from 1996 VIP's record pool, by the way. Al stayed in tune with his music, and he was working with various clubs like the La Mirage, Tapestry, People's, 109 Gallery, the Skate Key, Roller World, just to name a few. He had the ability of picking good music, and that led him to talent like Judy Torres, Information Society, Expose, Von Mason, Sugar Hill Gang, and Africa Bombata, and the Soul Sonic Force. His concert events included the Tunnel, the Palladium, 1018, and Home Base. He founded Heavy Rotation Promotions while working for Interscope Records under the supervision of VP of Promotions Kevin Black. His company quickly grew into one of the most effective companies in New York City, with clients like Death Row and Virgin. And now his current day adventures include being co-founder of Hip Hop Boulevard, as well as running their websites, managing all of their materials and marketing, and a myriad of other things such as talk shows, podcasts, clothing lines, you name it, he's got his hands in it. I would like to now add to the mix his new book, Am I a Good Father? By none other than Al Pizarro.
ESP. Let me tell you something. I'm excited just to be here, okay? Because we had a conversation a couple of weeks ago, and it was a roller coaster ride.
Wow.
And I promise you that the first interview that I do with my book would be you.
You did, you did, you did. And I'm so honored, and I hope I do justice to this wonderful piece of work that you have allowed me to interview on. So let's
Thank you.
jump right in. And well, first of all, is why don't you tell them a little bit about you? Because I've extolled your praises. So maybe I left something out. You tell them a little bit about you.
Look, I'm a Bronx kid. Grew up in some of the worst parts of the Bronx, and I wound up being a DJ, and I've done all kind of different things from that point on. But there's always been hard work and a struggle and everything that I wanted to achieve. This book was the biggest struggle I had because I didn't want to write a book. And my wife was the one that convinced me to write a book. Now, she didn't know what type of book I would write. She just said, you should write a book. So.
See, now you're not even leaving me anything to do the interview on, because, you know, I was going to talk about with everything that you have going on. You've got Hip Hop Boulevard, you've got new radio shows, you've got a podcast, and we're going to talk about all of those things. You have a clothing line for Hip Hop Boulevard. Your life is extremely full right now. So now that you've touched upon your wife telling you, you know, maybe you should do this, why did you really buckle down and just, why now with this book? Why now?
I think that at a time when I have time for myself, and when I say time for myself, I was raising my kids for a long period of time. So after they got, you know, they went and they left the nest, I said, okay, now it's me time. I was able to reflect and say, what's most important to me? to talk about. If I had 5 minutes of life left,
Mm,
what would I say to somebody? And I said it in the book.
okay. And ladies and gentlemen, the name of the book is Am I a Good Father? Now, when you called me with this title, I was blown away because, of course, my first response was, hell yeah, you're a good father. But there's a multi level with this writing. You're not just writing about you being a good father, you're writing about the father. And this is a very spiritual book. So you kind of take us on a journey, and this is somewhat of a God job for you in bringing this book to the public. So let's kind of delve in on the specifics. Who are you really writing to in this book? Number
Every
one.
father, every father. And when I talk about father, I'm not just talking about a male father. I understand what's happening today in society. So I'm talking about those that want to assume that responsibility and those that are fathers physically.
Mhm.
That's who I'm talking
Okay. Okay. And then the layer of, because ladies and gentlemen, this book has a godly texture to it. So Al, I really would like to open up the floor and get into that with you, because you and I share something. We share a belief system that we are not afraid to let people know that we have this belief.
to.
And I think that that's important, especially with the things that we do and sometimes the environments that we're in and the people that we're around. We choose to act a certain way, and people think we're funny about it, but we stand up for what we believe in. So this book has a broader base to it than just talking to the fathers. You're talking about your beliefs through the book as well.
Well,
So,
you know, the first couple of sentences, I plainly say that if you don't believe in God, like God and Buddha, uh, Allah, Muhammad, Yahweh, Jehovah, um, whoever you believe your God is, if you don't believe in that, then this book may not be for you. And
mhm,
not that a book is a preachy book about God. No, it's not. It's basically about the struggles and the things a man would think about and what decisions that they make. But God helped me through the whole thing. So I can't deny that. So I have to open up with that.
okay. So let's open it up and let's take a walk through the book. You have the children grown and out of the house, as you said.
Right.
And now you have 5 minutes for yourself and you're reflecting on life. And you pick up a pen and a piece of paper, or you sit in front of your laptop and you start typing. And it just comes to you, or is it a painstaking effort? Was this book easy for you to write because the ideas were just hanging there for you to state? Or did you have to really delve into yourself and deal with the passages? Tell us the journey of the book.
I think once I came up with the title, a lot of different thoughts came into my head. And it was just, what's the first thought that I start with? And like I said before, it was about just letting people know you need God in your life to make this thing happen.
Mhm, mhm,
And the second thing was to talk about the different thoughts that a man may have that women may not know about these thoughts. Me as a man, I had them thoughts from very early. So most men have the same type of thoughts, even though they go through a different upbringing. So the words were coming in. It was just a placement of how to put it through. And believe me, I did, I believe 18 chapters in the first
mhm.
year. And I wasn't happy. And I was looking for somebody to edit it. And I got to give a shout out to DJ Switch because she edited my book. So I'm looking for somebody to edit my book, and I'm thinking about it. And then as I read the book over, and I must have read it about 3 or 4 times, and I said, I got more to say. So we got 23 chapters in the book, and
Wonderful.
it's everything that you can imagine and things that you never even thought of. And I'm taking into consideration that you don't have to be a godly person to read this book. I'm taking into consideration that you don't believe in God. I'm taking into consideration that you think you have all the answers. I'm taking into consideration that your struggle has been so crazy that you see no way out. I'm taking all those considerations. And the most important thing was time. The reflection of time was so important to me because in my 60 plus years, I did not realize how important time is until my pastor had said something to me that just was profound. I didn't even know it. When he said it, I didn't understand it. I took it, I said, okay, cool, whatever. But it took a little bit of time. And when I say time, not minutes, not hours, it took days and weeks for me to understand exactly what he meant. Because you know how people say, you know, love me now because I may be gone tomorrow, or say whatever it is you want to say to me now because I may be gone tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it is said so frivolously. It's not said with the impact that you feel it. It should hit you with a ton of bricks,
Mm-hmm.
but it doesn't. And that's what happened to me. He said something to me, and it was okay. But then afterwards, is when it hit me. I said, "Holy crap!" I had no, you know. But I'm talking about 60 something years that I'm learning this
You learn something new every day, Al.
every single day.
Now, you mentioned in what you were just explaining that you kind of touch upon everything that a man would go through in the course of this book and thoughts that a man would have that a woman wouldn't have. Can you
Right.
give us an example of that with regard to rearing a child? I would imagine that you're speaking about in that context, or just in general, are we talking about?
So let's talk about a guy and in reference to relationships. So a guy breaks up with his wife or significant other, and naturally he starts going out with other girls, other women, a natural occurrence. And these other women or girls are around your kids. Now
Mm,
let's think about how many girls and women men go through. When I'm talking about women now, because remember, women have this same dilemma in a different perspective, though, the way it's looked upon. So men could go out with 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 100, 200 women in a period of their lifetime. And they're not thought, it's not even a thought. But when you have, and I'm just going to pick a number, I'm going to pick 3 women. When you have 3 women around your children, and one is, let's say, an introvert, she just keeps to herself, close to herself. Another one is outspoken, and another one is very educational. You know,
mhm,
you have 3 different types of women. Those 3 types of women are going to reflect on your children. Your children are going to take some of that of them
mhm.
and exhibit that in their own life, beside the father. So when they grow up and you start seeing, well, why are they doing that? It may have been a woman that you were going out with for a while, it's a year, 2 years, 3 years, that now is exhibiting in your child.
And she left an impression on the child. Okay, yeah,
Right.
that makes a lot of sense.
So if you do this without thinking, what kind of cocktail, and let's think of your
Mm,
child as a cup of water.
mm,
Your child is a cup of water, plain, clear water. And let's talk about the women as different flavors. All right, different flavors. So The cup of water is clear, so now the man has the opportunity to put into that cup of water the flavors that he wants his children to be. That's my choice as a man. But when you're with somebody, those different women that you're with, and you left them for whatever reason, that flavor may pour into that cup of water of your child. So now let's say there's a lime, and there's a raspberry, and there's a coconut. You just mixed up all that stuff in that plain water that it gives you a flavor. You're saying, what am I tasting here and all that? But you just changed the concept, the DNA, the way your children are thinking because of that. Just because of you just dating. Just because of you just going out and just being a man, just doing what you want to do. All these things is exhibited in your child. So as a father, what flavor do you want in your son or daughter's cup of water? In another hand, look at the women's side. If they go out 50, 60, 70 guys, they're considered a hoe, a prostitute, less than the woman that they are.
Mm-hmm.
So even though that they are playing single moms, we're talking about now, are playing the father role, they can't do what the man did without repercussions. And a woman may understand more clearly. Like you can have a woman raising kids, and see, I'm not a woman, but I had to play mom and dad.
Mm-hmm.
I was raising my kids by myself. So a woman can clearly say to a guy who's been with her and in the house, and he's drinking, he's smoking weed, and she could say, and the kids are running around, say, no, we're not having that. No, we're not having that. You got to get out this house now, because we're not having that around my kids. I see women being more upfront with that than men saying to a girl, no, we're not having that.
Okay, why is that though? Why is that?
Guys are trying to get in the pants. Girls are trying to find the right man for their women, for their man.
But wait,
understand that even
I'm
if I
kidding.
said 3 men, when a guy goes and says, let's say I meet this woman,
Mm-hmm.
and I talk to her and I have her number and I'm going to call her up. And all of a sudden, my friend told me, oh, yeah, I went out with her last year. My next question is, you went out with her?
Mm-hmm.
Or did you get deeper than that? And I'm not going to use the lingo that everybody else will use, but
I got you.
Yeah, I hit that. Now,
Mm-hmm.
am I, as the guy, going to say, I don't think I'm going to call her, because my boy just, and if my boy did, how many other guys? And it could have been just a slip up. It could have been just his rap was strong. Whatever the case may be, it could be just one guy that she slipped up with.
Mm-hmm.
But if that one guy is a talkative guy, the appearance is totally, totally different.
Okay, but can I ask you now, based on that example, I'm not sure how much this has to do with the book, but once again, based on that example, if you heard that from him and you said you wouldn't be calling her again, why not call her and say, okay, listen, my boy just said this. What's going on? Do you know him? Were you with him? Why not give her that consideration and ask her if it's true or not?
Now, talking as a guy, not talking as me.
Okay.
Because I have a different mindset about certain things. Talking as a guy, say, oh, I'll go on to the next.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So now your mindset would be what?
To ask the person. And to understand, and to also understand, is the relationship worth it? Because you may open up a can of worm asking that question.
Yeah, but also a lot of people talk mess. So, if as you said, if it's worth it, if the relationship is going somewhere, you then ask the question. Okay. So these are some of the things that you deal with in the book with regard to the children that you're raising in the book.
So now,
yes?
now I'm going to tell you something. And The reason why I said all that I just said in the last 3 or 4 minutes is because I was celibate for 11 years.
Nice. Awesome. I love that.
So and a lot of people, like the guy friends know. My guy friends, they know, like, they always, Al, what's up with you, man? What's going on? What's happening? Something changing in you? I said, no, I'm just taking time to take care of me, work on me. Because I had to do a report card on me. I had to fix me.
Mm.
After so many relationships, you have to say to yourself, is it the other person or is it
But is
you?
it me? So at what age were you that you realized, okay, I got to stop and do the report card?
In my 40s.
All right. All right. So you did the check, you took the time, you were raising the kids in the interim. So, in your perception, the children, you were raising them well. And I'm leading to this because I'm about to ask you the question that you've asked yourself in the book. Were you a good father?
And my answer to that question is, it's not for me to say that. It's for my children to say that. So it's funny because I sent a picture of the book to my kids. And my daughter is in California. And she immediately hits me up on a text. Said, Dad, you did a book? So I'm responding back on the text, yes, I did. Now she calls me. She said, Dad, you did a book? I said, yeah, I did. I did a book. She said, am I a good father? Dad, you really did a book? I said, yeah. So she's asking me a couple of times, did this really happen? I said, yes, it did. Then she responds back, you know you're a real good father, right, Dad?
Oh,
Okay.
that's awesome.
So that's the answer. That should be the answer to every father's question. Because if you're answering yourself, you're answering yourself. You may talk to your kids and they may just say, hey, nah, you were never home. Or nah, you're at that baseball game I want you to be at. You were never at my baseball game. Or, when I had that trouble, I told you, I'm a little busy. You didn't even bother to find out what was going on. It could be the littlest thing,
Mm-hmm.
but they were monumental to them. And when I wrote this book, I said I'm going through my own issue, my own thing, because you're always gonna go through issues. You have kids, so you're gonna go through issues. So naturally, I have an older daughter and put me in the corner. When I say put me in the corner, I mean she's not talking to me right now, only when she wants to, whatever the case may be. And I say, okay, because you gotta be okay with that,
Mm-hmm.
because I look at it this way: I'm always gonna be your dad. I'm always going to be here, and I'm always going to love you. I wait for you to be ready to receive that. Now,
That's unconditional.
some people may disagree, but everybody's life is different, and my life happens to be in that manner,
Mm-hmm.
because I think that growing up doesn't matter what age you are. Growing up is a state of mind, not of age.
But Al, coming back to my original context of the question, because at some point, with all of this work that we do on self, and as you actually stopped and did a report card check on you, you have to, at some point, have an opinion as to what you feel with regard to whether you did a good job or not. I understand that the kids for you are the ones should give that judgment, who should give that judgment. But as a parent, as the adult in the situation, as the ones who have lived through so much and are now taking the collective of what we are to raise these children, we have to be able to say to ourselves when we look in the mirror, did I do a good job? Do I feel like I left something out? We have to be able to temper ourselves as well to understand whether that job was done right or not. So I ask you again, do you think that you are a good father.
So me doing everything that I did tells me that I'm in the right direction and I continue to work on it. So that's
I'll
the
take
answer.
it.
Because it
I'll take
cannot
it.
be you're a good father now and then tomorrow you screw up. So I continue to work on everything that I work on to be a better father every day. And every day I learn something new.
It's a
So
daily process of growth.
it's a daily it does not end. You don't stop becoming a father, but you can mess it up almost immediately by making the wrong decisions. Understand that no matter what you did for 5, 10, 15, 20 years, that when you mess up, that's what's going to be reflective in their mind. That's what they're going to remember in their mind, the mess up. Now that you did all this stuff, I gave you a kidney. So what? You're supposed to give me a kidney. You're my father. So,
That's a hell of an example. And I get it. I get it. And I also would hope to add to that as a mother that when we do screw up, I like to think that I'm teaching my children I'm not perfect, but learn from my lesson. So I would hope in the same context they'd learn from your lessons as well when you screwed up to not do it with the next generation, with their children.
yeah.
But family, we're going to take a quick break. We're here with Al Pizarro. We're talking about his amazing new book called Am I a Good Father? And he's giving us, dropping gems, if you will, of teaching and learning for us and our children. And as I said, we're going to take a quick break and we'll be right back with Al Pizarro.
Y'all really want to see that today? I said, do y'all really want to see that today? I want everybody to stand up. Everybody stand up. This is going to be a party. I want everybody to go. Go Dana, get busy. Go Dana, get busy. Let me hear it. Are we ready to get high?
Dana's coming to town.
All right. So one of the most important things for me is the fact that I did not know my father until my late 30s. So I'm married now and I have 4 stepkids. 4. They're all adults, right? Matthew, Victoria, Angelina, and Lucian. So it's important that not only that I love my children, I love my stepkids. All together, all one. But it's more important for me as a stepdad to be as much as I can be without being their biological father, to be a father to them in any kind of way that I can.
Mm-hmm.
So I have 7 kids then.
I did say that you were a busy man.
So for me, it's like, never trying to take away from what their father is to them, but trying to be another father to them, if that makes any kind of sense.
Yes, it does. It does.
And then I have to say this because I do not want to be, I don't want to overlook this. So I have a possible son that I found out about 26 years later. So I have to do the tests and all that stuff. So when I wrote this book, believe me, when I said in the beginning that, I had a lot of stuff going on when I did, I'm still writing this book. I can attest to every single man that's out there that regardless of everything that I'm going through and everything that I feel, when I wrote this book, I meant every single word because I'm going through certain things also. And that's what I wanted to say.
So, Al, let me ask you this. What was your absolute favorite chapter of the book?
Oh, man. Look, I think that there's a chapter there that people may not realize, but it's basically about how we're in the house and we're not in the house, how we're there and we're not there. You have to really understand that when men come from work, they do a couple of things that's kind of systematic. This is a norm for a lot of men. You sit in front of the TV, or you have a couple of beers, and you go to sleep, or you go to your office if you have an office in your house or in your apartment, and you do some work there, or you come inside late because you work late, and you take a bath and you go to sleep. And the real time when you spend with your family is the weekend. So this is a lot of men do that. So a lot of men are really missing an action while they're home. Because as the wife, what do? Your husband comes home, he's tired. You said that let your dad rest. You know, he just came out of work, he's tired. He has a beer if he's a drinking kind of guy. You know, I'm gonna have a beer, I'm gonna chill out, watching this favorite show, whatever it may be. May not out in the living room, may not. May get up, go take a shower, have dinner, and go to sleep. But in all reality, where have you been with your children during that time? Now let's talk about the time that when you're in front of the TV. You don't want to be bothered. You're in front of the TV. So the children are, leave that alone. He's watching his show. You know how he gets. Or let's bring it up to date. You're in front of the computer or in front of the TV playing a game. And you're playing a game, and this is what you like to do. Or I'm going to go outside and hang out with the fellas. Or I'm going to play football with the guy. I'm going to play softball with the guy. Or there's so many different things where you could be an absentee father and still be in the house. And I know a lot of women can relate to that. Men are going to be like, are you kidding me? You know, I got to do me. I got to do what I got to do. But women are going to be like, okay, he's going to go out, he worked all week. He's going to go out, and do this or do that, whatever sport it may be, whatever it may be. And some guys like, I'm going to go to the bar, have a couple of drinks with the guys. I'm going to meet the fellas. It just doesn't change because you're not constantly aware of what actually is happening because it's a routine.
We as women call that being present without being present. You're there, but you're not really there.
Right.
So I get it. So that's your favorite chapter because you get to really explain that and break it down.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
Okay.
Because I think that if men can realize that, they will fine-tune the father skills a little better. See, and I learned that the hard way because I remember Gabriella was about 3 or 4 years old. She was in kindergarten, and I used to have a habit of watching horror flicks. So if there's one TV in the living room, you're all watching the same show. So we're watching the show. I'm not thinking anything of it. So when she goes to school, she's drawing stuff with blood and heads are off and all this stuff.
Wow.
Call me up like, Mr. Pizarro, we need to talk to you. Is there a problem at home? Problem? What's wrong? What happened to my daughter? Says, well, this is what she's been drawing.
Wow.
That's it. Holy crap. So look, when I talk to my pastor, when I talk to my therapist, and when I talk to the school, and remember, I was going to court to fight for my kids.
Mm-hmm.
So I had to do the therapy. I had to take her to therapy. And I had to realize that I cannot see and listen to what I want to see and listen when the kids are around, if they're not of age, what's appropriate for them. What I digest may be appropriate for me. Maybe I understand it. I can make the difference of it. But what in their minds, they can't comprehend that. So there's a lot of times I go to the movie theater and I see a young kid watching a R-rated movie. I'm not gonna judge anybody.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just saying they pulled my coat from school. So imagine that. just for that, kindergarten.
Touched on two of the children a little while back and their reaction to the book. Have the other children had a reaction to the book yet?
Not yet.
Not yet. Okay.
Not yet.
So I would imagine this is going to be family mandatory reading.
Oh, look, when we have dinner, it's like the UN meeting.
Ah,
We're talking about everything.
that's awesome. That's awesome.
So all kind of subjects get thrown in and out. This is going to be interesting because the book is going to be in Amazon in another week.
Mhm.
And I don't even have a hard copy yet. I'm waiting for my hard copy to get mailed to me.
Mhm.
So it's going to be very interesting to hear what the conversation is going to be at the dinner table.
Wonderful, wonderful. Well, maybe we can set up a camera and do a taping and do the fly on the wall. I'm so
My wife
happy
would love
to
that.
hear. All right. So we got the favorite chapter. You know what I also wanted to ask you? Do you have what the chapter listings are?
And when you
The
say, do
chapter name?
I have them in front of me?
Yes. Because I know you don't have the hard copy, and every time you want to go into it, you got to go into a digital device. So I was wondering if you had them in front of you, just so you could throw out, or if you remember some of the names of the chapters.
Let me hold on just a minute. Isn't that a hip hop record?
Yes, it is.
Okay, let me see something here. Let me see what pops up. Right now, my birds are kicking. They are.
Yes, I hear them awake.
Let me tell you something. Any parent would know this. You buy a pet for your kids, all right, and the pet doesn't die, and the kids move out. Guess who gets stuck with the pets? The parents. So these parakeets have been with me ever since Alex and Gabby were with me from young. And they have babies, and their babies have babies, and all that stuff.
Aww.
And they were real nice earlier, but now they're like, okay, what's going on here? You haven't visited us. You're talking, and you haven't visited us. We hear you in the background. Chapter 1, who am I? Well, a lot of men don't know who they are yet.
Mm.
What I needed. We get confused about what we need and what we want. We don't need anyone. We have that point of our life that we feel like, I could do it all. I don't need anybody. Generation X.
But ho, is that true? You
What?
don't need anybody. You really
No,
do.
that's not true.
Of course
Not
not.
not true.
Okay, all right. I just needed one of y'all to admit it.
Generation X,
Mm-hmm.
which is basically talking about this new generation. I call them the Generation X, but they want extra of everything. Separation, which I said before, a father's discipline. There's a lot of different ways that father can discipline, but I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about father's own discipline, your discipline, how you discipline yourself. A father's anger. Our anger could last decades. We talked about that. Possessions. What's important? I learned that lesson, I think it was like my second year of therapy. So what's important? I had a choice to sell my records to pay for lawyer fees so I could continue fighting the case for my kids, or not pay my attorney and have a problem with the case. And I'll just tell you this, like a 3-minute conversation I had with the therapist. And this alluded to me being, let's just say, not within the right frame of mind for a week and a half. So I told him, man, I got to get up this money to pay this attorney. I got a court case coming up. He charges me $500 per court case, a court date. And he said, so what you gonna do? I said, I don't know. I don't have the money right now. He said, well, how about your records? I said, my records? It's my life, my record of my life. So wait a minute, Al. I thought your kids were your life. And I said, wait a minute, that's two different things. I said, my records are, I have a collection of like 200,000 records. He said, but your kids are still your life, right? Yeah, my kids are my life. Yeah, okay. So are your records more than your kids or less than your kids? I'm gonna let you think about that out. I'll see you next week. I was a mess for a week and a half. I was a mess.
And family, we have to hone in on how important that is, because you had some of the original records back from the record pools that were literally priceless.
Yeah.
Original press. So for you to have to weigh that was very significant. And I just wanted to stop there and get the audience to understand and connect, because some people know who you are, some people don't know who you are.
Right.
So it's like having a platinum album, the original platinum album signed by the artist. These are the albums that we're talking about.
Right.
Not just a record. So that's big. But it's a poignant question. Are your kids more important to fight for and sell them, or do you keep the albums? And I'm glad you made the right choice, because you have a beautiful family.
So I sold all the records and everything. And I converted the room for my daughter to have her own room.
There you go.
And the next thing is religion. And that's a touchy subject for a lot of people. Religion and faith. Where is it that you cross the line? Because even though I'm a born-again Christian, I have to say, when I think about the conversations I've had with my children and my stepchildren, is it right to have a child follow your religion because you're Christian and now you're going to be Christian, when they don't have a choice and a mentality to make a choice? And then when they get older, they say, I'm not feeling this. I think I'm going to be a Muslim, or I think I'm going to practice Judaism. I think I'm going to practice Buddhism. But you take away that choice because you automatically bring them into your religion. And the chapter covers a lot of different aspects of that. Another one is the parents.
What is your basic belief on that? Because if we're living a particular religious aspect, we can only give them the best components of what we have and encourage them to seek further for themselves.
If you're taking a child at 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 years old and taking them to church with you because you have no other choice or because you want them to get experience it, okay, you have no choice, you want them to experience it. But when they become 12, 13, 14, 15, they have a mind of their own and they have a discussion with you. Are you going to penalize them? Are you going to shun them? Are you going to say, you're disrespecting God and what are you doing to your faith and all that stuff? If they have a difference of opinion about the religion that they grew up in.
Mm-hmm. So what did you do? Because I taught mine to have a difference of opinion. I actually wanted them to buck against me so I could answer questions and push them further out into the world so they could find out what they needed to know. But they had a basis.
So with my biological kids, they grew up in church with me. As I was learning, they were learning. And from all of them, I don't know if they're actually participating in a church. I know when Gabriella calls me, sometimes she may say, "Dad, pray for me," which keeps her connected. And with Alex, I just know that he sometimes just, "Hey, Dad, how you doing?" It's just his conversation and demeanor. It's more in a Christian flow, if you can understand what I'm saying. Without me interfering, like I don't go and say, "Did you go to church? Are you going to church? You know you got to go to church. Did you read the Bible?" I don't do that. I go to church. I do my tithe and offering. I model for them. I want them to see how God blesses me. If they want to choose that, they can choose that. And don't misunderstand, because there has to be respect and there has to be a moral fiber, a moral compass in your life. But I'm hoping that moral compass was already implemented during the time I was raising them. So it kind of stays with them. So regardless of which path they take, that sooner or later, they're going to find the right path. Appearance. That's a chapter on appearance. How we appear to people may not be the way we are. I'm going to leave it like that.
Leave it right there.
Regrets. How many of us hold on to regret? It slows you down. Communication. That's the most important thing, to communicate. You don't communicate, you won't be able to build the relationship you want to build. Good influences. What are bad influences? What are good influences? What are compromises that you make because it's good for you? I like it, I want to do it, but it's not a good thing. Father figures. Do you have a father figure? Do men have a father figure in their life? Is it their father? Is it somebody that they are, like, an actor, or a business person, or historian? Do you have a father figure? And why is that person the father figure to you? Well, how important father figures are. Let them grow. Talk more about your children and the certain things that they start to do as they get older. The second coming. That's about when you become a father again. When I say a father again, that means raising them again. That's when you become a grandfather. You're a father again.
So how many titles do we have? We're
21.
We're up to which one now?
Right now, we're up to 14. No,
14.
Excuse me. Second coming, 16.
Okay.
Do these things matter? What you spend your time with is important to understand what matters and what really doesn't matter. Some people spend their whole life chasing after something that is never going to materialize. And they don't even realize it. Live life. We forget to live our life. You can't work all day. And you can't play all day. There has to be a balance in your life. Keep the kid in you. Don't become so grown up that you can't have fun. Gotta be able to have that, put that smile on your face and enjoy life. Have fun. Have fun with your kids. Do things with them. Society, father, law, and court. Since I went through the court process and was fighting for custody and all that stuff, I'm very opinionated about that. And then the last one is just be a dad. At the end of everything, just be a dad.
What type of responses are you looking for from the men when they start to read and they start to come back at you on this book and let you know what they're feeling? What do you expect to hear from your audience?
I just want to challenge them. I want to challenge them. Think. That's it. If this book makes you think, then I've done what I'm supposed to do. Because a lot of fathers are not thinking.
Mm-hmm.
Why do we have multiple fathers out there with different children from different kids, from different mothers?
Why do we?
They're not thinking.
Do you believe that there are some men who think or take the phrase "be fruitful and multiply" to the extreme where they think their seed is supposed to be sown and then they just sow it willy-nilly and think that they're doing what they're supposed to be doing by making children? Because I know several men who think that way. So what is your...
I don't think that is, that's when you take the word literally and you have to interpret the word. Interpret it. And the thing I love about the word is that it applies to every time frame of your life. So if you read the word and you thinking about thousands of years ago, you can't go and stone a woman because she's an adulteress, right? You can't do that. You can't.
You can.
There's so many things that are in the Bible, but that was for that period of time.
But they were written for that time period. I
for
agree.
That time period.
I agree.
You know,
but
things that
so
happen.
Al, that's not what we're talking about. We're talking about men who literally decide that because they can have children and because they are still having sex, when they go out, they have a kid, they think it's okay, and they keep moving along.
But you said something that comes from the word: be fruitful and multiply. But he also said, be knowledgeable and use wisdom.
Okay.
So how is being fruitful and multiplying with different women having wisdom?
So that's the statement you're making to your brothers who are doing that. You're not being wise.
And let me just say this. Can you tell the difference between in love and infatuation or in like?
Me or them?
No, them.
I don't think I honestly, since you opened that up, I really don't think a lot of men are thinking about that in the moment where these things are happening. I don't want to take away from the sensitivities of some men, because some men are caring, they're sensitive, they do think about, but as a broad general context of men, I think they're very callous in their behavior.
Yeah.
And they just do what they do because they can. Not all of them, a large amount of them. And they can get away with it because women position themselves in such a place of desperation or need or want that they feel that they can run over them.
There's a lot of angry men. There's a lot of men that do things out of spite. But I'm hoping this book challenges them. Let them think about things.
I think our conversation is actually writing part 2, but anything I can do to help out. I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to the hard copy to read. And I really am so excited for you with this piece of work. And I can't wait. In the meantime, we're going to take a quick commercial. And then we'll be back. Ladies and gentlemen, we'll be back with Al Pizarro. And the book is Am I a Good Father? Stay with us. Back in a minute.
When we get hurt, no one tells us.
Lose the crutches. It's all in your head.
If someone is seriously ill, we don't say,
just feel less pneumonia-y.
So how is it that when
I'm not able to sleep at night.
I'm anxious all the time.
Drinking is the only way I can feel good these days.
Seems like I'm arguing with the people I love nonstop.
Or other issues related to our mental health. Too many people pretend we can just
Snap out of it.
taking care of our mental health shouldn't be any different than taking care of our physical health. But let's be honest, there's still too much secrecy and shame around seeking help. The truth is, this affects nearly all of us. 1 in 5 adult New Yorkers are dealing with a mental health disorder every year. Now imagine a city where the path to taking care of your mental health is crystal clear. We're not just going to imagine it. We created a roadmap for mental health to make our city as healthy and as strong as it can be. The roadmap has 6 guiding principles. Change the culture. Let's make it easier to talk about our mental health. Act early. Investing in prevention gives New Yorkers the tools to weather challenges. Close treatment gaps. We need proven programs in every neighborhood and every community. Partner with communities. The wisdom of local communities will help us get to the most effective solutions. Use data better. Better data means better treatment, better policies, and better prevention. Strengthen government's ability to lead, because we have a responsibility to support your access to mental health. New York City is moving closer to the day when the path to mental health is clear for every New Yorker. Get involved. Find out more about the roadmap here.
And family, we're back. We're here with Al Pizarro, and we're talking about his new book, Am I a Good Father? So I'm going to tell you a really quick story about Al in this book, because as I said, we have become friends over the last couple of years. And Al and I talk, we speak on a spiritual level, we speak every once in a while. And he called me one afternoon. Guess what? I said, what, Al? He says, how much time you got? I said, for you, I have all the time in the world. He says, all right, get comfortable, sit back and listen. And what happened from that point on brought tears to my eyes, literally. Because you have to understand, I've watched the journey of this man over the last couple of years and what he's done and how he's changed lives and how he's affected people. And crowds have come to him and people are living and thriving because of the things that he does. So for him to take time and ask me to listen to something that came from his soul, I was floored. Would you read to them like you read to me that day?
Pivotal point of my life was meeting a pastor. My life was turned upside down. This pastor went and he told me, well, God, your life is going to be all right. You're going to get out of it. I didn't think that was the case. And I challenged him and God. I said, if God could save me, I'd save him for the rest of my life. If God could get my kids back, I'll save him for the rest of my life. So that was October 8, 2001. I got my kids back that November, Thanksgiving weekend. And I've been serving the Lord ever since. But I want to read you, because he passed away some 11 years ago. And I want to read to you, and I got it on my phone. So excuse me if I'm not looking direct while I read this to you. And this is just a passage in my book. And it's about time. That's all it is, about time. My pastor once told me that I gave him the most precious thing a person can ever give someone. I wonder, what can that be? There he was lying in a hospital bed after another heart attack. And I'm still selfish, telling God, I need this man. He has shown me so much in a short time. Don't take him away. So I was thinking about myself. Wow, didn't I learn anything? I didn't know it then, but now I have more peace that brings me more clarity and a better understanding of myself. Let's get to my pastor. So my pastor tells me I gave him my time every day, going to see him at the hospital, reading the Bible to him, praying with him. Time, a concept that I'm aware of, but never looked at it from his point of view. I was a kid from the hood, the projects, drugs, alcohol, selfish, arrogant, proud, angry, tough, a member of several gangs from the age of 13 or 26. I would have done whatever I had to in order to make it. A good time for me was going out on a Friday, Saturday, and having the money to have drinks, get high, and get laid. I didn't care if I hurt people in the process, and forgetting two very important things, God and family. Yeah, I used to hear that all the time, but I really never applied it. I had an excuse for that too. You know, I went to church on Easter Sunday, Ash Wednesday, and Palm Sundays. So yeah, I believed in God and family. Yeah, I was that man. I had to have several women. One wasn't good enough. Living every day, having fun. Why not? I was a grown man now. I had a job, a business. What more can I ask for? Time. All I did was waste it. But I had a lot of fun. Or did I? I still misused it. Abused. Just threw that time away. Like all the time in the world. Now when I look back, I could have spent more time with my children, building a stronger foundation, teaching them more. So the pastor was right. That time was gone, and I couldn't get it back. That was the most precious thing that I gave him, time.
Men don't talk about those feelings. So to have a man write it down and other men be able to read it and identify with it is extremely powerful. So let me ask you this. What is the one thing that you want your audience, when they read it, particularly the men, what do you want them to walk away with when they're done reading this book?
Change. If one thought out of the book, just one thought changes one thing that they used to do and they're thinking about changing what they used to do, that is what this book can do. That's what I want this book to do. But I gave this, I told somebody just recently, I gave this book to God because if it wasn't for him in my life, I would never have written this book. Naturally, my wife told me to write a book, but God used my wife to tell me that. So, change. Just one little change.
Okay. Change, family, change. And we all need to, at some point, change some of the ways that we have. So, Al, thank you so much for sharing the reading with us. And thank you so much for sharing the book with us. And before we go, I know you're pushing time because you had to make time for this interview. Before we go, I got to tell them about everything else that you're doing because you have a whole world beside this book that goes on. You have, as your sign behind you says Hip Hop Boulevard, you got to talk a little bit about that. Then you have the new podcast, you have the new radio show, you have a clothing line. Honey, you're the hardest working man up in the Bronx right about now. Tell us what we need to know. First of all, before you go any further, the book is going to be available on Amazon, ladies and gentlemen. Once again, it's called Am I a Good Father by Al Pizarro. All right, so tell us about Hip Hop Boulevard, because that's one of my favorite things up there in the Bronx.
Well, so before I tell you that, let me tell you that you can get the book now at authorhouse.com because that's my publisher. You can get it from them. And in 2 weeks, it'll be on Barnes & Noble and Amazon. So now I'm going to tell you about Hip Hop Boulevard. So I accidentally got ownership of this name. And when I say accidentally, it was not my intent. But I saw something that was happening that was going to hurt people that I care about in hip hop. And I said, somebody got to do something. And there was nobody around. It's like I'm talking, somebody got to do something. It's happening right before my eyes. Al, the only somebody is you. And I said, and it's a big responsibility. So I stepped up and incorporated and trademarked the name. And I talked to the people I know and have a relationship with in hip hop and said, I'm going to watch out for your back. I'm going to do this in a manner that should have been done 40 something years ago. And if you believe in me, I'm not telling you to trust me. I'm going to earn your trust. But if you believe in me, follow what I'm doing, see what I'm doing. And if you like what I'm doing, then, you co-sign it or you can't, or you wait, whatever the case may be. So Hip Hop Boulevard was created first thing and foremost to protect, preserve, encourage, and empower the hip hop pioneers, the hip hop culture, and people in hip hop. The pioneers got a raw deal. Everybody knows that all over the world.
Mm-hmm.
How do we fix that? It's going to take a lot of fixing, but it's doable. It's manageable. And again, let me tell you something. I gave this company to God. So whatever I do and whatever I'm doing I give it to God first. So that way it becomes something that he touches and he fixes. Because when I say there's a lot of things to fix, do you think that I'm able to fix all the problems that happen 46 years from now? No way. But the Almighty can fix all things. So that's a period to that. When we did this, and when I say we, Tony Tone, from the Cool Cross Brothers, Terry Nelson, and my son Alexander. So we all got together and created the name of the street changing, co-name it the Hip Hop Boulevard. And when that happened, things occurred that just had me to do the corporation and trademark and try to protect certain aspects of people's lives and the culture itself. Now we're going on 3 years. We did the first Hip Hop Boulevard Awards. We have Bronx Hip Hop Day, which there never was a Bronx Hip Hop Day. We did that last year. The Bronx Borough President did Bronx Hip Hop Day this year, just the 2020. He did it this year. So we have 2 Bronx Hip Hop Days. We have the Bronx first hip hop festival that we did. And let me not take away from the Zulu Nation and the things that they did, because I'm not going to say, Al, you did all this stuff, but the Zulu Nation was always doing something, all that stuff. Absolutely. Yes, they did it. Props to BAM and everybody else who did that stuff, without a doubt. And that's what I have to say. I appreciate what they did. I helped them along on a lot of different things. And I wish them a lot of success because they're still around. This is Hip Hop Boulevard, and we're taking a different route. I want to be able to have the pioneers to benefit now from everything that's going on. I want to send a message to all those people that are living the life, the Cardi B, the Jay-Z, the 50 Cents, to be able to give back to the pioneers in some kind of way. I want to be able to have a more corporate relationship with pioneers and corporate people. And I want to be able to marry the old school and new school together. So Hip Hop Boulevard has a lot of things to do, but I got a lot of people helping me. So you mentioned the podcast. So we have the podcast, and the podcast called The Conversation. And basically because we have conversations all the time, but how many of them lead to something? How many shows do you watch and they're talking and talking and talking and great, and everybody's excited and everybody's motivated, all that stuff. But after that,
it
what
just stays
happens?
right there. Exactly.
So we develop a show, and that show is based on, we're going to talk about it and then we're going to do it. We're going to talk about it and then we're going to do it. And that's what it's based on. So we were able to create the gift, which is the card that we came up with to kind of spread the word of hip hop, giving somebody, buying them a cup of coffee, a butter roll, lunch, whatever you can do, just give them the card and say, pass it on. We developed that. We have a project that we're working on with old school and new school people working together on a project. And we have that going on. As a matter of fact, this on the 21st, we're going to announce the new school, because we already got the old school guys ready to roll, the new school that are going to work with them. We're doing that. We're working on something with the military, which I'm not going to even mention any more than that. And we're working on something with the HMOs. So there's a lot of things that we're doing. Our company is multifaceted, but there are many individuals in the company. And our website is building with our MC page and our graffiti page and our news page and our memorial page. Do you believe that in all this time we don't have anything memorizing all these hip hop people that passed away? There is nothing other than if it's Tupac and Biggie, you know, and Jam Master Jay, something like that. That's different. But how about all the others that passed away? So we set up a memorial page on our website to honor them. And anybody
Awesome.
can send a name. So if you're a graffiti artist, if you're a b-boy, all that stuff. So this is what the company is about. Community is about the issues that we have. I'll give you one thing and then we could converse again. So we have now the vaccine. How many people do you think in the hood are getting the vaccine? Because there's so many conspiracy theories. And people don't want to take it.
Al, you know that's a pet peeve of mine. I did a show on that. We gotta get our people to get out there and get protected, because people are coming from other places to come and take the vaccines that were earmarked for us.
Right.
So, you know, we got to clear up the nonsense.
So I was talking to Lioness Roars, and Lioness Roars and I were talking, and we said we need to put together an agenda calling it Hip Hop Lives. Let's live. And the whole concept is, if you're telling me that you could take a bullet for your mom, or you could take a bullet for your dad, or you take a bullet for your child, then take a shot.
All right now. Yes, sir.
We're
Your
about
passion is showing again, Al. Your passion is showing. Ladies and gentlemen, you can check out everything that Al is speaking about on hiphopboulevard.net. That's the website. Once again, I'm going to say it, hiphopboulevard.net. Read their mission statement, understand what they're doing up there. You heard him say it. Now get behind it. He also has gear up there that's really cool. You guys have seen me wear his Hip Hop Boulevard gear. He's wearing it right now. His signature line is amazing. They're coming up with new stuff every day. And support. So often we talk about our Black people and our people of color and what we can do. I just gave you something that you can do. Get on hiphopboulevard.net. Go up there and sink your money into what we're doing, because it's going to the culture that we hated. Al, you have been an absolute joy. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you so much. Family, the book, Am I a Good Father, is available right now. We're going to put up all of the availability sites and pinpoints where you can get it on our website, and we're going to be promoting for you, Al. We're so proud. We're so proud. Thank you so much for sharing the first interview with me. I'm so honored. Thank you.
I want to say one thing. And the reason why that I did the first interview with ESP is because I told her that I would. And men have to understand your words are already a promise. So when you say something, that's our promise. Keep your promises.
You are awesome, my brother. We love you, we love you, we love you. And thanks for stopping in. Family, we're going to take a commercial break. When we come back, we're going to have Jax bring you up to speed on what she's doing. We'll see you in a minute. Hang in there with ESP Speaks and Jax.
My name is Amaudi Scrujong, and I own Bronx Native, a retail shop in the Bronx. We had been steadily expanding, then COVID hit. We lost 50% of our revenue and were forced to close our Hunts Point location. That's when I learned about the NYC Small Business Resource Network, and it was free. After I signed up, I quickly heard back from my specialist and connected me to solutions that are helping my e-commerce business through things like copywriting, legal support, and various financial resources. Our small businesses make New York, New York. Let's keep it that way. Sign up today and keep your business strong.
everybody, was good? It's Jackson. I'm back with a not previously aired episode of All Jacked Up. And why am I telling you this? Because I did this episode in early 2020, and that's when it was supposed to air. So there's dated material in there, but you know what? It was too good of an episode to let go to waste. I just wanted to share this episode with you guys. I hope you enjoy it. And here it is, the previously not aired episode of All Jacked Up. Airing now. It's coming. Thanks for watching. Hey everybody, what's good? It's Jax. I'm back, and welcome to another episode of All Jacked Up. So, make sure you handle your business, and let's start the show. First up, it is my absolute favorite segment. What did you say?
It's a pick between two teams. The teams with liars, backstabbers, cheaters, and the two most egotistical maniacs I've ever seen in my life.
Girl, you sound quite confident about that.
I felt like my mom and dad weren't hearing me out. So as a way to kind of get their attention, I would lie. So I became an habitual liar.
That's one of those made up mashup words that I love so much. Habitual liar. Does that mean you write obituaries and lie about them?
He picks the most insecure women. He makes them feel amazing. He puts them on a pedestal. You're my queen. You're so perfect and beautiful. And they are essentially paying for that.
Okay, wait. If a man was making me feel amazing, putting me on pedestals, calling me beautiful, and like telling me I'm his queen, then yeah, I would sensually pay for that. Okay?
You have a boyfriend.
She has a boyfriend.
Who had the dog?
I have the dog.
And it's her dog.
Is my girlfriend's dog, yes.
You're the boyfriend.
Yes, Your Honor.
Perfect.
That was like a trip around the block to get right back where you started.
Pitbull has so many songs with Jennifer Lopez, and Pitbull is the king of Miami, but I feel like Pitbull, and I love Pitbull, but I feel like he's lost a little bit of his footage.
He lost a little bit of his footage? What, from his latest video shoot? What are you nodding at?
Right?
The word is footing. He lost a little bit of his footing.
Footage?
Next.
My relationship with Rich started off on all the wrong foot.
Do you walk around saying, I'm 5 foot 6 inches, or there's 3 foot in a yard? Now, this is what I want you to do, girl. I want you to reach up 3 foot on that shelf, pick up the dictionary, and look up the word feet.
After the fiasco of the champagne stealing incident.
Never mind. Let's move on to the next grammar fiasco.
We got these bags with our names on them.
Oh, yeah.
And inside of it was like a cute pajama lingerie set.
Girl, honey, child, sweetie pie, don't you lingerie on that word too long, because it'll make you look stupid. Let's keep it moving and grooving. Right now, it is time for my segment, You Cray.
It's a world of whoop, SME downs to insecurity, can't fight to protect you. Minnie Mouse on a rampage, well, who knew? It's a whoop-ass world. Minnie Mouse whooped that ass. Minnie, you supposed to take the shoes off before you beat her ass.
Speaking of Minnie Mouse.
¿Ya está? ¿Qué soy?
Mickey Mouse.
Sacame foto.
Bueno.
Officer, whereabouts is the closest bank?
It's right around the corner.
All right, cheers, thank you. Wait.
Do you remember an episode from South Park? So somebody in their infinite wisdom decided to give us a live version of this famous South Park song.
Taco, taco, don't think just because I got a lot of money, I'll give you taco flavored kisses, honey. Fulfill all your wishes with my taco flavored kisses. Taco, taco, burrito, burrito, taco, taco.
आजा डूब जाऊं तेरी आंखों के वो सन में.
Ik heb een liedje geschreven over mijn leven.
Do you ever wonder what goes on in a bug's life?
Gary, we gotta get out of here, dude. They keep making walls. Oh, fuck, oh, fuck, oh, fuck. Nah, nah, Jimmy, help me, dude. I'm stuck. Jimmy, please. Somebody, get me out of here, please. Sorry, Gary, figure it out, dude. I gotta get out of here. Oh, fuck, not Jimmy, that way. Please. No. Jimmy, no, I gotta get out of here. No. Just walk over. Jimmy, help, Dad. Just walk over it. They don't really hurt that bad. Which way? Okay. Oh, God. Oh, fuck. I gotta go down. Down. Oh, fuck. I think I'm clear. No! Gary, they got me, too! God, fucking Jimmy! This is how we die, Gary! I hate you, Jimmy! It was nice knowing you.
It is time for Social Savvy. This one comes from Lexi Television on Instagram, and it's all about boundaries.
All right, so let's ask Janine what she's doing for Christmas.
Movie. Oh, my hair is
You always say that.
Because it's always gray.
Is it gray?
You don't see all that? Well, anyways, I'm going to the movie.
And my hair is out of place, so fix my hair.
No.
It's
nice now, okay? It's all nice. Take that. There you go. Move it on your skin, too. It's kind of ashy. But anyways, what do you want to ask us?
Just take a minute. Because it got
wet?
Some got on my forehead. It was a little wet.
A little moist?
I was trying to blend my hair into the unit.
I blended into the unit.
Is it blending?
Yes, it's all blended.
Thanks to your saliva.
Nice. What did you call it?
It was just spit and...
Remember, please like that.
Please don't do my eyebrows like that.
Yours are great. Yours are good too. You gotta show everybody. I got it for you too. We're all good. Now, what did you want to know about Christmas?
Nothing. I don't want to know anything about Christmas anymore.
I don't want to know anything about your Christmas. At least your hair will look nice because I slicked it back. And your eyebrows. It's all good. Nice.
Thanks, Janine.
You're welcome.
Well, that's it. That is all she wrote. You are all jacked up. Thank all of you for hanging in there with me. Please subscribe to the channel, like this video, and hey, comment below. Let's get engaged, okay? I shall see you next time, but until then, y'all be good and wash your damn hands, okay? 6 feet, like if you see me on the street, walk on by. Ciao, y'all. Well,
all right.
I guess that does it for this week, huh?
In the meantime, you know what we're going to say.
What?
Be positive.
That's negative.
Say good night, Jax.
Good night, Jax.
We'll see you guys next time on ESP and Jax Speaks. Have a good night.
Bye.